And Dana, I was texting with my mom, who's one of those without power, and the problem is not just being in the dark tonight, it's that it's still hot out there, so you don't have the fans, you don't have the AC.
No, it can be very hard for people. Luckily, tomorrow's not going to be quite as hot as it was today by a long shot, but the humidity is still going to be in the air, and that can feel very uncomfortable. But I do want to keep talking about those storms. So we had a lot of convective activity earlier today, a lot of thunderstorms. That's because we had the heat, the humidity, and a cold front moving through. So that gave us a lot of instability for those storms. However, the sun has gone down and all of the convection has left our area. In fact, we're left with just a couple of showers lingering through the mid-coast area, and even those will be ending within the next few hours. So here's a look at our high temperatures for today. Once again, feeling extremely summery out there today. We got to 94 in Portland, 99 in Freiburg today, 97 in Sanford. Now at this point though, the heat wave is going to be over. The National Weather Service has dropped their excessive heat warnings and heat advisories, and though it's going to be warmer than average tomorrow, it's going to be significantly cooler than it was over the past few days. So we're going to have that cold front move through later tonight. However, it's going to stall out just along the coastline, which means temperatures tonight aren't going to drop very far. However, once we get into the weekend, we'll start to build in a bit more shower activity associated with this front, but it'll be significantly cooler because an area of high pressure to our north in Canada will be able to funnel in some cooler air from the north instead of the southerly air we've been getting that's been very hot and humid the past few days. And then another system is going to move through for Sunday, which is going to bring some warmer air as we get into the middle of next week. So I mentioned that that cold front is going to stall out later tonight, and that means our temperatures tonight for most of us are only going to drop down into the mid to upper 60s. Though significantly cooler than it was last night, still about 10 degrees above average and a little bit uncomfortable out there because the humidity will still be very high. So overnight tonight, a couple of showers continuing. As that front stalls out, it'll be cloudier closer to the coastline earlier tomorrow morning, though I do think we'll see some sunshine in areas inland, and then we'll build in a bit more cloud cover in the afternoon. I do think there's a slight chance for a shower in areas of southwestern Maine and particularly back into New Hampshire in the evening on Friday and late afternoon. However, I think most of the state here is going to remain dry. Though that front is going to get a little bit closer as we go into the weekend, so I think it's still going to be pretty showery. Now, this model has become very optimistic about Saturday. I do think there is going to be a bit more shower activity than this model is showing. And then as we go into Sunday, we're definitely going to see more rain in areas of northern Maine and a pretty strong cold front that looks to go through the evening. So we'll watch that closely for some strong thunderstorms on Sunday. Marine forecast sees 2 to 3 feet, water 61 degrees, quite chilly out there in the ocean. So tomorrow, temps getting into the upper 70s to lower 80s, still above average, but significantly cooler than it's been the past few days. And then, Zach, I've been saying for the weekend, we're going back to our regularly scheduled programming with a couple of showers. It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's nice to have that cool down, but comes at a price.
It does. That's all right.
Thanks, Dana.